Yeah, so I think that'll be an interesting thing to watch. Uh, and so, as we're thinking about integration, management, and technology investments, it's easy to get carried away and just think AI, AI, AI all the time. But we're actually also seeing that there's still the rest of IT isn't dead just yet. There's a recent study showing that banks and financial services organizations are still very much thinking about digital transformation, according to Broadridge Financial Solutions, a company that looked at over 500 banking and technology operations surveyed executives for its innovation report, and finding that they are still expecting to spend approximately 30% of their IT budgets on technology innovation and transformation over the next 2 years. And that means not just AI, but all of the standard digital transformation work that we tend to think about when we are trying to turn paper and manual processes into something a little more digital.
Yeah, in reading this, I was actually I couldn't help but thinking of this as being something overly optimistic,
Mm-hmm.
especially given current financial conditions. Because if you would have asked me about this in January, I would have given two thumbs up. Today, a little bit of a
Mm-hmm.
different situation. Because would either a perspective or actual recession change this thinking? Are these changes inevitable, or with just some changes in resourcing, spend, and timing, and potentially the scope of them? I think that one of the themes I've been noticing is around kind of like the need for getting back to basics.
Mm-hmm.
So rather than thinking of digital transformation like a new way of working, it's like, no, how do we take the rough edges out? How do we get rid of the things that are just adding mass but really not adding value? And if we
Yes.
start using that lens as the basis for transformation, I think we're talking about something which is much more reasonable in time, money, and scope than it is about the, oh, wow, we can be this whole new type of thing when it really not called for right now.
Yeah, I think there's room on both sides. On the one hand, I've talked a lot about the IT rule of 30, saying that any unmanaged IT department or spend category, subcategory tends to have 30% in waste when it's left alone, just because there's all those duplicate instances, zero use accounts, all that kind of stuff that is always just kind of hanging out there. And any company where you've got 10 e-sign solutions and 30 project management
Yeah.
solutions probably has a little bit of waste that can be cut away.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Ken, as you pointed out, we definitely live in uncertain times right now. The rules are changing day to day, week to week from an economic and geopolitical perspective. And I would not be surprised to see that result in an increase in cybersecurity spend. I'm not just saying that because I'm going to RSA this week, but it just seems to me that even if no matter how you look at this, either America's fantastic, or we've got a lot of enemies, or some things have been broken, and that makes certain things easier to sneak into or break into. It just seems like there's going to be a lot more opportunity for the bad guys in cybersecurity to potentially grab data and money, and banks are going to be incentivized to spend to protect that.
Yeah, without a
Mhm.
doubt.
Yeah. And I think that as we think about technology transformation, that just because we move to digital processes and capabilities, obviously that is going to provide more channels for potential attack. I'm not the expert on exactly what that means, but it would be hard for me to imagine that that would lead to fewer opportunities for the black hats to sneak in.
Yeah. Well, and I like the fact that like the Verizon data breach report that we've got on the agenda here.
Yep.
You know, you want to give a little context to set that one up, and then we'll